Hi everybody, this is Stan again. I think this is about the 5th video going over symptoms. These videos are like 15 minutes each. So I'm on the 5th one, I think, which is, I guess, an hour and 15 minutes talking about this. That's how many symptoms there are. Somebody once said there's 180 some symptoms. I don't really know how you can put an exact number on them because, in my opinion, when metals are in your body, it can affect all kinds of stuff every which way. And like a guy like Dr. Boyd Haley talks about the mix of metals creating an unknown synergy, of what that mix of metals would do to any one human being. We're all different. It's all on what the level is of each metal and how many of each we have. There's like an infinite number of possibilities, I think. So, and then you get symptoms varying in extremity, or in severity, sorry, not extremity, severity. So anyway, continuing on, the next symptom I had under, I think this category was mental area, was not dreaming at all. And then once you detox, you start having dreams, and it's a very weird feeling. And again, it's another way of knowing that you're detoxing. Like a lot of people say, how do you know your brain's fully detoxed? Well, first of all, I probably don't. Second of all, I go by my symptoms. I can do all these mental, cognitive things that I struggled with before, so it would have to have been from my brain detoxing. And I'll talk about that maybe in some other videos, but a lot of what they say about the blood-brain barrier and your brain won't detox unless you do this and do that, I don't believe it because I didn't do it. I didn't chelate, everybody's chelating all over, and my brain got pretty darn good. So, and I've seen a lot of other people on YouTube with videos about detoxing naturally, with like blueberries do a good job on the brain and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm jumping around. Let's get back to the list. How to do simple things like balance a checkbook. And it's not so much that you can't balance the checkbook. It's just you don't even want to look at the checkbook. You just have a fear of the checkbook. You know it's going to be so stressful trying to do that checkbook thing. You just don't do it. And maybe that's a better way of describing not wanting to do simple things. You know in your mind and your heart that you struggle doing them, so you sort of don't do them anymore. And then when you detox and you start feeling better, you notice that all of a sudden you're doing all these things that you used to procrastinate about, or you were afraid to do, or didn't even want to spend the time doing it because it gave you a headache, that kind of stuff. So that's a big one. Now I don't mind writing checks. I used to hate it. Now I'd literally go to the point where I would just get behind paying bills. I just couldn't do it. I just could not write the checks. Procrastination, I kind of just described it. Procrastination in every which way you could think of. Okay? Being shy. I'm very shy. I probably still am very shy, but I'm not anywhere near as shy as I was when I was toxic. I mean, I would literally just go hide in a corner somewhere, and now I'm say hello to people, whatever, I'm not anywhere near as shy as I was. So, you think about all the young kids that might be messed up with heavy metals from a variety of things. I'm not going to get into that right now. You can do your own research and see that that's maybe why kids are affected the way they are. Shyness and ADHD and all those other good things. Again, I reversed all that stuff, so I know it was from heavy metals, and I know that if I did it, other people can do it too. I guess that's my main message here. I proved it to myself, and now I'm passing on what I know as best fact, okay? And I talk to lots of other people that have done the same thing and kind of confirm, what I've done. I got lost driving on a hometown road, a usual route home. You're driving along, and all of a sudden you're like, where am I? You know where you are, but you don't know where you are. You know you've gone down the road before, but you don't quite know where you are, and somehow you find your way home. I would have a fear of going on trips and going to new places because I would panic if I did not know exactly where I was going, or if it was getting dark and I'd have an extra amount of stress to know where I'm going. GPS now is really great because it takes you right there, but a little while ago it wasn't that great. You'd be a block away from where you want to be or something. And you all can probably say, well, everybody panics like that. Well, I don't anymore. You know what I mean? So, and it's not just getting lost once; it's getting lost a lot. Okay, it's almost like you want to leave breadcrumbs everywhere. You just have a fear of going anywhere because you just don't know that you're going to find your way out. You have a fear that you're going to not find your way out. And I guess fear is another symptom too. I didn't write it down, but I probably should. So I guess I will. There it is. Leaving notes all the time due to not trusting your memory. Okay, that might say that's not really a symptom specifically, but it's something I would do all the time because I had, a fear of not remembering certain basic, simple things. Okay, it's almost like I had Alzheimer's, or I was, actually about 5-6 years ago, I thought if my memory keeps going the way it's going, within 5 years, I won't know what's going on. I'll have full-blown Alzheimer's. Okay, and all of that reversed completely. Can't recall how to do simple tasks, simple things. Again, I mentioned earlier about going up the stairs. I would trip going up the stairs all the time. My left leg just would not know what to do. I play the drums. I could not really play as well anymore. I was losing everything. You name it, everybody is different. Everybody could probably tell a different story about this, but it's just a general symptom. TIA type symptoms, I forget what that stands for, trans something, it's mini strokes. I had those symptoms. I stayed overnight in the hospital one time because they suspected I had a TIA. They never could prove it by diagnosis or diagnostics. All they could do is conclude, well, you probably had a TIA. Later on, I realized, I didn't know at the time, it was a Mercury type situation. And it was more of an amnesia thing related to the mercury. And I connected the dots later and realized that's probably what it was. I think I mentioned this in an earlier video too, like leaving the house and always locking myself out. Even while I was deeply concentrating on not doing that. Like the harder I concentrated and not do it, I just did it. And I'm standing outside saying to myself, I just locked myself out again and I don't have my keys with me. Like, what is wrong with me? Other people would do crazy things. I'd see posts in different detox groups and, list the craziest things you've done. And there'd be like the biggest response because we all thought like it's kind of funny, but we were all in the same boat. We were all doing the same thing, putting your keys in the refrigerator, putting stuff in a freezer. The doorbell rings and you go to the toilet. Stupid, crazy things. It's just like, what am I doing? That's how messed up this can make you be, okay? And again, like I just mentioned, weird things we do. Like I would mix up words. I couldn't talk. Mid-sentence, totally lost on what I was saying. Afraid to talk. I mentioned going up the stairs. Afraid to speak because I didn't know what I was going to say or when I was going to run out of memory of what I was going to say. Being at a stoplight and confused on what the color means. Staring at it going, oh my God, I don't know what red or green means. I don't even know what these lights mean. Not remembering people who we see every day. Slow talk or speech. Maybe even right now I talk slower than I used to. I'm also older than I used to be, so it's hard to pinpoint why, but or it's just a habit. I learned to talk this way because I was so cautious about what I was going to say. It's another little symptom is that when you're detoxing, it takes a while to get rid of all those like phobias that you had while you were toxic. Not being afraid to go out and do something with friends. Not canceling last minute like you always would do because you just didn't quite feel like you could make it happen. Okay? Okay, I guess I already had fears down. I edited earlier today, but I already had it down, so there goes my memory. Sorry. Phobias of all kinds, fear of heights, For me, it was also like vertigo related. So I still have a fear of heights, but not to the degree I had before. Now I'll go up a ladder and feel more confident. Before I was like on the second rung and already worrying about, am I going to make it up, and am I going to fall off? And that's the other thing too. You start having weird like hallucinations. Glad I thought of that one right now. I mean, I would wake up and see things in my room, all kinds of strange visions of things and people and faces, and I can't tell you what they were. I've seen other people say they had the same. I would think of terrible thoughts during the day. And visions of terrible thoughts, like people close to me, something terrible happening to them. I always had that feeling of something terrible happening to people around me, and I would like think of that. It would pop into my head. That doesn't happen anymore. Okay, and I've read a lot of other people had the same. I think I already mentioned addictions, but drinking, overeating, overdoing anything. Okay, you can just about any addiction. Okay, and it really bothers me when I see people talk about addictions and people that are alcoholics and this, that, and the other thing. Again, nobody knows the connection potentially to heavy metals or toxicity, and those poor people may have really been toxic. They might have had amalgams. They might have had too many vaccines. Whatever the case may be, they might have been in the military. I'll talk about a military person I met, young girl who was detoxing, and she knew all her symptoms at 32 years old had to be from all the stuff they pumped into her. And when she met me, I told her, I said, I believe you. I understand what you're saying. And she burst into tears because nobody believes us and nobody listens to us. And you don't think I'm crazy? She said. I said, no. I said, I was there myself. And I said, you're doing the right thing. And she said, I try to tell all my colleagues and the other veterans, they don't want to listen to me. And, they believe the system and all that. So anyway, very, very sad situation when you think about you look at the suicides, okay? Sorry, but post-traumatic stress, I'm going to talk about that down the road here, but, think about it if it was related to toxicity and it was totally avoidable. Counting things. I would count floor tiles in patterns. I would count telephone poles driving on the road in patterns. I wouldn't just count one next to each other. I would go like this one, then 3 down the road, then back up 1, then 3 more down the road. I'd come up with these stupid, ridiculous patterns. I would do the same thing with floor tiles. I would do anything that was in a vertical line or a horizontal line that I could make a pattern out of. I would do that in the room. Like I'm looking in the room right now and I see a lamp, and I play drums, so I got some cymbal stands, and I would make patterns out of the cymbal stands and count them, and then throw the light into the count and all that. All these ridiculous stuff, and other people have told me they did the same thing. Okay. Schizophrenia. This could be the last. Well, in bipolar, and I think I'll end it for this one because I'm into the 13 minutes. Very near and dear to my heart. My sister's schizophrenic. I truly believe she was mercury toxic when she got sick. Just by her symptoms over 30 years now, how her brain is cleared up. Unfortunately, they gave her all these psychotropic drugs, which if you give those to a person that doesn't need them, you're not going to help them. Probably going to make them worse. She had shock treatments, institutionalized for I think about 27 years. She's not going to ever get better. And I know and have read of many, many people in a couple detox group I'm in, where people were also in institutions, and somehow they or their family members or something figured all this out, and they detoxed and they got out of the institutions before too much damage was done. So, I don't know what else to say about that. That's my sister. She's a couple years younger than me. She's the sweetest person I know. She suffered more than I can possibly imagine. And there's so many other people out there like her, and I think of all the children that suffer, that get injected with stuff, and they feel those feelings when your brain is going crazy on you. I felt it myself when I was acutely toxic. I'm running out of time. I'll continue on with this topic. Thank you.